and gets a well-deserved day off today is Jackson Jobe. There's a liner into right. TJ Walton has a base hit to lead things off here in the fifth. Jackson joins us now. Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Great to see you all as well.
It's fun to see you, and it's fun to see what you did this past week, Mr. 102. What an unbelievable performance, grabbing the attention. And you already had of Tigers fans, but I think a lot more people learned a lot about Jackson Jobe this past week. So I guess, first of all, how's the arm feeling? Because I hadn't seen 102 from you before.
No, it feels good, for sure. Had a good off season, gave us some rest, and now we're back at it and rolling again. But everything feels good. Try to keep it that way.
How much adrenaline was there the other day?
Oh, a lot for sure. I was definitely nervous because I'd never come out of the bullpen before. So
Runner goes, throw to second, on target and in time. Dylan Dingler has thrown out a pair of Phillies here in the breakout. I'm going to guess you've seen that a time or two this spring.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You also got to come in the ninth inning of that game. How cool was it to be able to be a closer?
I did. It was cool. It was cool. Like I said, I'd never really done that before. I got like 2 strikes on the last guy, and the crowd went crazy, and I was trying to calm myself down. But no, it was awesome. It was a really cool experience. I'm glad that they let me go out there and do that.
And I know a lot of people were talking about the 102, but one thing that stood out to me was the strikeout you got on the changeup. Take us through the development of that pitch and to get to where it is now, because it's like it might be a plus pitch right now.
Yeah, it's come a long way. I didn't really have great feel for it in my first year, but when I threw it well, it had good results.
Grounded a short. Trey Cruz puts it away, 2 down.
And then stayed with it, threw it a little bit more last year, and just kind of got better feel for it as I threw it more. And yeah, like now I think it's turned into one of my best pitches. So yeah, really happy about that, obviously. And yeah, it was a little different than all my other ones. It took a lot longer to figure out for sure.
And when it's working, what is it doing best?
I'd like to think it has some depth and some arm side runs. So when it's best, I'm getting both of those for sure. And I like throwing it to righties and lefties both. So it's definitely a good weapon for me for sure.
Caleb Ricketts bats for the Phillies, 2-1 Tigers in the top of the fifth. So what's the next step? Like, how do you build on what you did last year and now what you're doing here in the spring?
Yeah, I think it's just getting built up, getting all my stuff dialed in for the season. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is to stay healthy the whole year and get through a full season. Last year, I think I threw 80 innings or so and threw a little less than 80 the year before, and obviously you're not going to be a big league starter throwing 80 innings a year. So I got to build my way up and do something about that. But obviously want to go out there and dominate and perform, continue doing that. So yeah, it'll be a good one. I'm excited.
All right, I don't want to get you in trouble, but be honest. When you were throwing in that ninth inning, did you glance over at the scoreboard to see how fast you were throwing?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like to do that. I like to do that just to see where I'm at. If I need to bump it up a little bit or what, I like to just see, make sure.
Dan Hasty, Jackson Jobe, Sam Dykstra. One of us can really throw a baseball well up here in this booth. We get a chance to hang out with Jackson Jobe, who turned everybody's head based on what he did in his last appearance here in MLB spring training. How cool is it to be able to be up with the big club and to be doing something like that?
Oh, it was cool. I'm really appreciative and grateful that everyone let me go down there and hang out there for a little bit. But yeah, it was awesome. A great group of guys. Had a lot of fun in my time down there. Unfortunately, got sent back to the minor league side, but we'll be ready to go. But it was a great experience.
Well, for now. And you get a chance to still work with people like Chris Fetter and Robin Lund. How have they been able to influence you? Because I know you've been doing a lot of work with some of the minor league pitching coaches, but this is that time of year where you get a chance to get a best of both worlds.
Yeah, 100%. It was great. I think the biggest thing I took from that was going out there and kind of simplifying the mindset and challenging hitters. They preach dominate the zone, so attack hitters early, get ahead, and then put them away with your stuff. Kind of just try to keep it as simple as I can, and that's what they're preaching us as well. And so far, it's been working out.
Yeah, what kind of mechanical adjustments have you made since your time, coming out of high school? Because especially that control really popped off last year, coming off the back injury.
Yeah, I don't know how nerdy you want me to get, but
How nerdy are you?
Yeah.
not
You don't
super
really
nerdy.
strike me as all that nerdy.
This is the time to flex. Like,
I
show
mean,
us.
yeah, I could
Yeah.
get into it for sure. But no, probably the biggest adjustment I made this past offseason, just coming off all the back stuff, like tried to keep my upper body and really my spine like as neutral as possible as I'm moving down the mound. Try to limit the amount of movement going on. And
Jace Young just hit a baseball to Orlando. It's gone onto the concourse. Jace Young, it's a multi-homer breakout in the spring breakout.
Jeez.
That's one of those baseballs that's hit so far, everybody just stops what they're doing.
We go, JJ.
What stood out most from watching Jace Young? I mean, I know you guys were teammates at Erie at the tail end of last year. You guys were teammates in the fall league as well. When you watch him, what stands out most to you?
Probably just how hard he plays the game. I think he's a good guy to have on your team and sucks to probably play against. Yeah, he plays his tail off, and I'm definitely glad we have him. There's no doubt about that.
I know that you would have been in this game had you not been with other responsibilities, having thrown earlier this week. We'll probably see you throw here sooner than later in Major League camp again. But what do you think it means? Because, of course, you can have an honorary distinction of having been in this game, but what does it mean to these guys that you're able to watch here today?
Oh, it means a lot. I'm sure. I mean, obviously the first time that they've done something like this. It's also cool to see guys like Max Clark, a younger guy, getting to play with some of the older guys that are in AAA and things like that, and just get to know everyone across the org from the bottom to the top. So that's something cool that stands out to me.
Have you found any other games? Have you watched any of the other games? Have you watched Paul Skeens against Jackson Holiday or anything like that?
I have, yeah. I did watch the Pirates game, and then one of my friends, Bubba Chandler, he got to throw as well. So
Pirates farmhand.
Yep. He pitched. I think he closed it out, so that was fun to watch. Aside from that, I don't think I've seen any other ones, but it's been cool to watch.
You mentioned Max Clark. You guys are both really high picks as first rounders. What advice do you give him as somebody who's moving through this system now with that kind of expectation of being a high pick?
Oh, yeah. For him, I'd say, I mean, everyone says your first year is just a learning year, and you hate to hear that. You want to go be the guy, but that's really what it was for me. Like, I wasn't even close to figuring anything out. And not that I am now, but just thinking about how much I've learned since my first year, it's like, it's night and day. So I'd just say not to be too hard on yourself. Take every game as a learning opportunity. And it sounds cliche, but that's really how it is, in my opinion.
Dylan Dingler bats for the Tigers, who now lead it by 3-1. Talking with Jackson Jobe, Detroit Tigers' top prospect. It's a group now that includes guys like Max Clark and Colt Keith and Jackson and Jace Young and Ty Madden as they round out those top 5 spots. 1-0, just a little bit outside, 2 balls and no strikes. So take me back to the end of last year, because you spent most of that season in high Class A, but then you get brought up to go pitch in Double A, and you have quite the introduction. Not only do you have success, but your team ends up winning a title thanks to some of the stuff that you were able to give them. How cool was that?
No, it was awesome. It was super cool. Unfortunately, after my start, I got sent here actually to get ready for the fall league, so missed out on the whole championship thing. But it was cool to see them go and win it. But
so you got cell phone videos. Congrats.
Exactly. Yep. But no, it was cool. Super happy for them, and it was a really like tight-knit group of guys. Like they were all really close. It was fun to be around them for however long I was there, just a week or so. But yeah, hopefully they'll bring one back. We can bring one back this year, so we'll see.
And then it becomes a challenge at Double A for you. So, I mean, based on the little experience that you had, what kind of challenges do you think you might be in for this year?
We'll see. I think that my biggest competition is within myself. Like I feel like I've made some pretty big jumps from last year to this year, and obviously got to play in the fall league a little bit, which are a little more advanced hitters. So kind of got to figure out what the upper levels are like. And I haven't pitched much this spring, but I mean, I feel really good. And I think if I just stay within myself and throw strikes and attack guys, I'll put myself in a good position.
It's so interesting because a couple of years ago, and we talked about this when you first came to West Michigan, was the fact that there were a contingent of Tigers observers that were saying, well, you can't take a high school right-handed pitcher, number 3 overall in the draft. That's crazy. And now everybody's saying, like that scene in Billy Madison, man, I'm glad I called that guy. So now tell me a little bit about what you've learned handling the mental side of this game.
Yeah, definitely a lot. I'd probably say I've learned to not ride my highs or my lows for too long. Like even having a good outing like I did the other day, and everyone getting all excited. Like it was great, super happy about it. But we got a lot of season to go and a lot more innings to be pitched. And I've had the same thing happen of when my first year I struggled and I got down on myself, and it leads to other things and has some kind of snowball effect. And so, yeah, I just try to stay level-headed as possible and just keep working just as hard every single day.
Jose Briseño, the batter for the Tigers, as Jose Briseño already has a double here in the breakout. I'd imagine it helps you compartmentalize a little bit. And now that you've had that experience, you're probably a lot better off for it. It's 2-2s outside, runs the count full.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, are you somebody, as you're speaking about being level-headed, but are you somebody who's allowed yourself to think about what that first start with Detroit would be on the major league side?
You said like when?
Yeah, no, like what it would be like. Like, do you visualize your first start?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even something like the other day was just like a very small glimpse of what it'll be like. But, like, I live for that feeling, that adrenaline you get, the excitement you get, because you can't get it anywhere else. And I know when I get to that stage, it'll be something unlike I've ever experienced. So.
Well, you're easily the best nerd I've ever seen play baseball. Jackson, thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations on a dominant performance in spring training, and cannot wait to see what you do once Double-A hits this season. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.